back to Read, Rant, and Review. I am wearing this awesome mask because today we are going to be looking at a book called The Witch's Boy, and there's a mask in it. Anyway, let's read the back. I had to hold this really close because I don't have my glasses and I can't see. This critically acclaimed tale of a witch and her goblin child is wholly original, and the legendary characters of old who touch their story, Cinderella, Rapunzel, Rumpelstiltskin, are made new through Mikhail Gruber's imaginative lens. Gruber's literary voice is as magical as his imagination. With The Witch's Boy, he has created a wondrous journey through realms of magic. So that really isn't a read the back type of thing. It's more of like praise for. And I don't remember, because again, book's gone back to the library, if it actually said that on the back of the book. So I'll give you a quick synopsis. The Witch's Boy is about a boy raised by a witch and a bear. The kid's name is Lump, and he's hideously ugly, and eventually he wears a mask, hence the mask, which I'm just going to keep hitting as I gesture because I can't see myself in the camera. So I read it because I'm a member of a really strange little book club, and it was the book that we were all supposed to read. And I thought I might enjoy it too because it is fantasy and it's kind of YA, and it's right up my alley, really. It reminded me really strongly of Into the Woods meets Wicked. Into the Woods in that it is sort of a retelling of all of these interlacing fairy tales, and Wicked in that it is kind of detached and a little bit soulless. For thoughts on Wicked, check out my Wicked review. Cool? Cool. Just like in Wicked, I found the main character to be wholly unlikable. And I think that was intentional, but I personally have trouble with books where I can't like the main character. I understand if you want your main character to be a villainesque character or someone who is deeply flawed, but if they are just a straight up whiny ass, I just can't. I think we're supposed to feel sorry for Lump, but I don't feel sorry for him at all. And if sympathy is all you're really going for to draw you to a character, then maybe that's not the best thing. Then again, it might be my personal preference. Some people really loved Wicked, and I think some people probably really loved this book, in spite of a highly, highly unlikable main character. Characters are so important to me, and I have to be able to like them to enjoy a book. And so the fact that Lump is a dick really just turned me off with this book pretty quickly. Also, the witch is a dick. Everybody's a dick, except for like side characters. Side characters are allowed to be nice, but all of our main characters are assholes. Like, I liked the bear and the cat. They were side characters, so they got to be nice. So I liked them. The main draw of this book seems to be the retelling of the fairy tales that are within it. It almost seems like a vehicle with which the author wanted to just retell all of these fairy tales in such a way that it turns out that the bad guys are really bad guys, a la Wicked, or that it was completely different from what we have normally known. And when we got those snippets of the fairy tales, it was quite enjoyable. I liked all of the retold fairy tales, all of the reimaginings. I thought they were fairly original. It's too bad that the framing device of the rest of the story was kind of boring. Unlikable characters going through boring life situations, but with some interesting fairy tales sprinkled in. I did like it better once Lump became an adult, because even though he was an asshole, at least he wasn't a little kid asshole. He's throwing the little kid angle and I'm just like, I'm out. Now, of course, because we have this retelling of fairy tales thing, you know that Lump is going to turn out to be a fairy tale character himself, probably a villain character. And I thought that they were going to go towards him being Beast from Beauty and the Beast, because he is an asshole and he is ugly, and, you know, who could learn to love the Beast, whatever. And he was born that way instead of enchanted that way. But instead, he turns out to be Rumpelstiltskin, which is odd, but okay. The thing that struck me, though, is that throughout the story, all of the retold fairy tales that we hear are drastically different from the version that we are used to, you know, here in our world. And so when we get to the Rumpelstiltskin story, I was really surprised that it pretty much followed the formula. Like, there were a few things that were different, like how he acquired the gold and such like that, and that he had a little bit of relationship with the girl beforehand. But it pretty much note for note followed the story right down to somebody catching him singing about his name. And I was really disappointed. I had hoped that since we were leading up to this, that they would vary the story greatly and maybe not have him be so stupid to just be singing about his name. It seemed really random for him to be doing that, and everything he did seemed really random. I didn't understand his character much at all, or why he did things. But I was quite disappointed that by the time we got to the main fairy tale of this book, that it pretty much followed the fairy tale that we're all familiar with. Also, I'm a little bit curious, at one point Lump frees this genie slash demon, and that never comes back to bite him in his adult life, which kind of made me mad. I was like, dude, you just woke up evil Robin Williams genie, and that's not gonna hurt the world? Like, that's okay. It's like what the character does never has any consequences for him or for the world. Like, he does things that have immediate consequences that make him kind of sad, but like ultimately it doesn't really necessarily inform his character. Odd book. And then at the ending we get some lightning fast character development from Lump, where suddenly he turns into a decent guy and gets a girl, and sort of Beauty and the Beast it just a little bit. And the girl he ends up with is just like this random chick who he falls in love with. And I was like, okay, I kind of shipped him with Gretel. Because he meets Hansel and Gretel, and they have these couple of badasses, and all I can picture is, you know, this. But anyway, I kind of shipped him with Gretel, and I don't understand why she wasn't a viable romance option for him, because they had a friendship already. So overall, I was rather disappointed with this book, especially disappointed with the characters and the character development. I just couldn't find anybody to like at all. And honestly, the only reason that I continued to read this book was because it was for my book club. If you like Wicked and you like fairy tale retellings, you might still enjoy this one. But I don't know. So, did you read The Witch's Boy? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Are you a fan of cool masks? Leave a comment below and tell me about things. Tell me about your life. How's your life going? If you are curious about this mask, it's made of leather, and it was created by a friend of mine who has an amazing store where she makes masks and all kinds of other steampunk accessories as well. It's called Squirrel Creek Creations, which is hard to say, and I will link you in the description to her Etsy so you can check her out. She made the mask, I painted it myself, but she made it for me, so that's cool. Check her out, and I will see you later. I'm gonna go put my glasses back on so I can see.